Kevin here from Mobility Bros. We're continuing our work with the common dysfunction we see with the squat. We'll be addressing the hips today. Now what we're looking for when we talk about the hips during a squat is flexion and extension. So flexion as I transition into the squat and extension as I come out of the squat. Now if I'm missing range of motion, either flexion or extension, what happens when I'm missing flexion is that my torso tends to want to fold more to help me accommodate that. Now if I'm missing extension, when I'm going to come out of the squat, is I lose some stability here and my back can do a little work for me to get myself out of that squat. So a really good stability with our hips is squeezing the butt forward to level out that pelvis to make sure I'm really stable in that squat. So I want to be able to maintain this as I lower back down as well, dropping back in and really coming up and squeezing that butt tight. Now the self-non-fascial release technique we're using today is going to be addressing the tissues on the lateral aspect of the hip here. Now there's a lot of junctions with muscles and fascial layers that cross this section of our hip, and freeing those up is going to give you lots of range of motion for the hip as well. So what we're going to look for is we're going to start kind of finding that hip bone with our fingers. You can it should be kind of easy to find here. And what we're going to do is we're going to push those tissues away from that hip bone in a radiating pattern all the way around that hip bone. And I'll show you what that looks like. So with the amazing roller, I'm going to find my hip bone. Now if I'm looking in the front here toward the TFL, I want to have my top leg over that bottom leg. And I'm just going to slowly twist in towards that TFL to try to open that up, pull it away from the bone. Now as I transition below the hip bone, I'm just going to push that down and away. When I transition behind the hip bone, I'm going to take my top leg and bring it behind that bottom leg. So I can start kind of kneading into those glutes a little bit. And again, I'm just twisting in to try to pull them away from that hip bone. Same thing as I go up top here, above the hip bone. I'm just going to push up. Just push them away. Now, you're going to spend probably a good 2 to 3 minutes on each side. We're trying to free up those hips. Now, after you've done that, our stretch portion that we kind of mobilize into that position is a really common, really simple, really easy lunge. We're going to have 1 foot forward, 1 foot behind. Now, from a front view here, what we're looking for is keeping the foot glued down tight to the floor. So my toe is down, heel down. I want to be really heavy with this foot. Now, I like to have my hands on the inside here and my near hands, the near leg, on top of the foot to help kind of hold it in place a little bit better for me. Now, so the first portion we'll go with this stretch here is we're going to address the rear leg as far as like bring ourselves into extensions and third. Now, if I want to get myself set here, I'm going to practice this. Start my butt back a little bit. I want to tuck my butt, squeeze those glutes really tight, and I want to press those hips down and forward towards the floor, really elongating the spine. So once again, we're going to tuck the pelvis under, squeeze the butt really tight, and press those hips down and forward towards the floor, and really elongating the spine as I do that. Now if I don't do that, if I lose contraction on my butt, what's going to happen is my back's going to want to do a lot of that work for me as far as pulling myself into extension. And on a squat, I want to make sure the butt is doing the work to pull you into extension. So again, we're going to tuck, squeeze, press down and forward, and elongate that spine. And you're going to really feel a nice pull with the psoas, the iliopsoas, and some of our hip flexor quad muscles here. We'll just press into that stretch. Now, from a forward view, when we pull into extension, I want my forward knee here to track outside toward the pinky toe. And you can see here, as I squeeze my butt, tuck my hips, press my hips down and forward towards the floor, and elongate the spine, my knee will naturally track out toward the toes. And that's what we're looking for here, keeping the foot really like glued down tight to the ground. Now we're also working on flexion as well with the forward leg here. And so as I transition, tuck the butt, squeeze it really tight, press those hips down and forward towards the floor. When I pick the chest up really high, this is what it's going to look like in a really solid squat position. Really heavy hip flexion, really straight back and upright torso. Now you're going to spend probably about a good 2 to 3 minutes on each side, really freeing up those hips. If you have trouble squeezing your butt, it's probably a good time to squat today. Maybe I'll spend some more time doing some different corrective work, which we'll have videos of down the road. There you have it. Thanks for watching. Tune in later in the week. We'll be working on the torso.